Alright, how my expert doing? We are going to create strong business habits and incredible business partnerships. Right here, we are at the Kaiser Medical Offices building, Lancaster, California, right, for a mixer they're having with AV Chamber of Commerce, right? So to be able to check them out and do all that positive stuff is a good thing, right? To do positive things is a good thing. To be positively, embraced by your community is a good thing. So to check them out. So first thing we notice is, this is very high up, at least 150 feet. All right there by the entrance. All right, got some music going on, which is nice. Got a booth. We'll go ahead and check them out, see what they got going. All right. It's like a live band right here. Check them out. Hey, staff outside.
How are you?
Very positive, Doing their thing. They got the Chamber of Commerce right here. All right. Welcome to the Champions Playbook business consulting firm, where we specialize in multiplying your business sales with our business growth habits and business partnership development. If you are not using business partnerships to grow your business sales, then you are missing out on thousands of dollars every week. Join our free newsletter, Winners Business Partnerships. We will show you how businesses are using partnerships to grow and scale their business, sales, and how you can too. We also have an exclusive business community, the Secret Sales Growth Club Silver. This is an exclusive club that provides you with access to businesses and entrepreneurs that you can partner with to multiply your business sales. You will also get extras like exclusive Silver Club only interviews, weekly sales training, access to exclusive Silver member only events. Just go to thechampionsplaybook.tcp.com to sign up for the newsletter and the Secret Sales Growth Club Silver at the top and bottom of our homepage. We look forward to helping you multiply the sales of your business. Got refreshments right here. Got food, different food. Alright. Drinks. Alright. This is good. This is nice. Looks like cakes. Right here. Sandwiches. So that's how you want to do an event. Alright. That's how you want to do an event. Have it nice. Have it set up the right way. And they have things set up where you can take pictures. Never really been in here before. Got this stuff right here on the ground. Alright. Got the music. The backdrop for the pictures, which is nice. Kind of when you're marketing and doing your thing for your company, is how you want to do it. Alright. Alright. Here we have an outdoor area, which is nice. Got the walkway. Alright. So this is a nice area right here. Alright. Check it out. As we see, this area has the wood walk area, which is really nice. You can see the whole 10th Street West area as you walk over here. Pretty nice, pretty good. All right. I believe they're gonna do a tour, so I'm gonna go ahead and head back. Check that out. So heading back in this area. This is nice. This is nice. All right.
I haven't. I joined.
Back in this area. Check everybody out. So everybody's doing.
There's lots of amazing food. Oh my gosh. We want to welcome all of you to the Healthtoberfest Chamber Mixer, sponsored by Kaiser Permanente. Let's give them a big hand. Woo! Thank you. And also, let's give a hand to the polka band. Aren't they amazing? All right. Gosh, I'm not going to wear my little shorts. I'm going to start dancing here. And also, I wanted to recognize Beverly. My goodness, thank you. Thank you for the amazing food. If you guys give them a big round of applause. I also want to recognize Sylvia Duarte from the Antelope Valley Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. If you want to come up here, Sylvia, with me. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for the partnership.
Thank you, Vicki. Thank you for being part of this amazing joint mixer today, and thank everybody for being here and being part of this great organization, Kaiser Permanente. How many of you are Kaiser Permanente members? Woohoo!
Thank you so much. You know, I always said that we're all very important, right? All of us. Every single one of us here is important. However, we have some very, very important people here with us today, and we just want to take a minute and recognize them. We have Jackie Owens from Congressman Mark Garcia here. If you guys want to give her a big clap, thank you, Jackie, for being here.
And we have Anna Zarley, representative for Assemblyman Tom Lackey.
And we have Judy Kuperberg from LA Mental Health. Thank you, Judy, for being here.
And we have Mark Maldonado, president of the Antelope Valley Hispanic Chamber of Commerce.
And then also we have beautiful Mrs. Corsiel Eberle here with us. Give her a big hand. Thank you for being here. You're amazing.
And give yourself a big applause because you guys are also important for being here today. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Do we have Mr. Tom Lackey here yet?
He's on his way.
He's on his way? Okay. Well, we'll come back to him, okay? So, next we wanted to welcome to the Kaiser Permanente Antelope Valley leaders, Patty Clausen and Allison Siegel. We want to welcome you. Can you guys give a big round of applause, please?
Yes, and you guys are gonna.
Well, thank you for coming. I am Patty. It's really an honor to have all of you here tonight. You have nothing better to do, and so we do really appreciate you coming out. We have in store for you talking with some of our physicians tonight, and then we can have you ask any questions that may be on your mind. We are here in this community. We are grounded literally here in this land and also in the Palmdale area, and we intend to stay here for a very long time. We offer our health plan, and so any of you that are interested in talking with us further, we are a fully integrated health plan that we treat you from birth till you depart. And so thank you all for coming tonight. We really appreciate you being here.
I think you summed it up pretty well, but I do, if you have a chance later, we'll also do a tour of this beautiful building, because like Patty said, we're here. Kaiser Permanente is here to serve the community, and we'd love to show off some of the great exam rooms, just how beautiful and all the thought that went into putting this building here in the Antelope Valley. So I hope that you have your questions ready for our physicians, and I hope you're ready to take a tour a little bit later. And now, I love the theme, so thanks so much. This is great.
So what we'll do is get some food, enjoy the food while the 7-Town Lucky comes in and join us. There's refreshments, so please help yourself. Okay, so we're gonna start tours in about 5 minutes. I also want to share with you that we're gonna have raffles. Okay, we're gonna give some raffle tickets for some prizes. We're gonna do raffles in a little bit. But right now, let's all enjoy ourselves, grab some food, grab some drinks, and just, network.
And again, take advantage and thank Lemon Leaf again for this generous food. Thank you.
Let's get all three of the MCAT who are here.
Well, thank you for your attention, everyone. This is certainly a fun event. Thank you all for being here. We're excited to see local community working in partnership, because that's where we really enjoy success, because we have some interesting influences that are surfacing in our economic influence, and we all need to band together and work together so that we can get through them successfully. And this Healthtober Chamber event is something that we want to recognize as a positive influence, and it allows and facilitates communication, and that really is the key in any kind of successful operation, is communicating honestly and openly. And we need uniting influences right now, folks, because we have so many dividing influences. We need to take advantage of these uniting opportunities, and the Chamber certainly provides that, and we're very thankful. So I need to come up here and present somebody a cool certificate, basically honoring the Healthtober event. Someone from Kaiser, we'd love that.
Yeah, 3 folks coming up here.
Okay. What? The more the merrier. Come on in here. Again, I think it's not really complicated to understand the power of working in partnership. And we don't have to think completely alike. The fact is, when we do, it's less meaningful. So let's not hate disagreement, and let's work together and work collectively on building common ground, because that's when we're all better, really. And we walk away smiling instead of the other. So I'm still taking instructions. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so I probably need to suspend with this microphone. It doesn't look good in the picture.
Oh, we got one more.
Long arms, huh? Yes, I need them for stuff like this.
Here we go. No music yet. This is awesome, right? Oh my goodness. Talk about collaboration, right? When we collaborate, when we work together, we can accomplish a lot more. You know, it's important to work collectively, and that's what we're doing tonight, right? We're working with Kaiser Permanente and with the Antelope Valley Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and this is what happens, right? We bring out the community out, we bring unity, and that's, to me, it's just amazing. But anyways, with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and move on to our program. We're gonna do, now we're gonna kick off our Ask the Doc. So we're gonna bring up the panel, and I want to introduce our doctors.
So Dr. Kodam, he's ophthalmology, and he's from the Antelope Valley area, medical doctor. Dr. David Bronstein, pediatrics and infectious diseases. Dr. Ivy Sements, internal medicine. And Dr. William Kroom, orthopedics.
Okay, so we're gonna get started. You guys ready? Yeah, y'all ready? Okay, here's the first question. So, what separates the Kaiser Permanente Antelope Valley medical offices from other facilities?
Well, I think as Patty mentioned earlier, and my name is again Will Kroom. I'm an orthopedic surgeon, also the physician lead for government relations. But I think the biggest thing that we offer is our integrated model, and I think that provides our members coordinated care, safe care, efficient care, and they can get the vast majority of specialty care here in the Antelope Valley. They don't have to travel to other areas, and I think that's one thing that stands out for Kaiser Permanente versus other providers in the area.
Now, does anybody from the audience have any questions? Now's your chance to ask the doctor.
If I can actually add something unique about that. So there's this big thing in the airline industry, put on your own oxygen mask before you take care of everyone else. You need a healthy parent to have a healthy child. So here in Antelope Valley and in the Permanente Medical Group, we really value physician wellness because we want the doctor to be well. If they're well, the members are well. So our vision, our mission is, members thrive when physicians thrive. And we want to improve the clinician experience to improve the member experience. So we are committed to making sure that your physicians are healthy and well so that they can have the energy and the stamina to take very good care of the members. So, and we score very highly when it comes to physician wellness in the culture index.
So are you guys too shy to ask a question? Okay, I'll ask one question that I know that's been going around because I've heard this before. Is Kaiser ever going to open up a hospital here in this area?
Thank you, Dr. Bronstein. My name is Kodam Rosnomi, and I'm the area medical director in Antelope Valley, and I'm an ophthalmologist. That's a great question. The healthcare industry is changing, so we're always assessing the need for a hospital. We already have two hospitals. We have a community hospital here in Antelope Valley Medical Center, and we have contracted Palmdale Regional Medical Center. So when we do the assessment, there isn't really a shortage of the bed in terms of the inpatient. And then the way the medicine is developing now, as you might have noticed, there is more and more ambulatory care that is taking place. So we're not ruling out building a Kaiser Permanente hospital in Antelope Valley, but we're also trying to stay current with the development of the healthcare industry, the way it's going. We may have a hospital that operates maybe 24 hours a day, or we may have a facility that can support hospital type of services without being in hospital, or what we call now ambulatory hospital. So all the options are available, but we're actively looking into that.
Thank you.
Now, I'll add one other thing, that despite the fact that we don't have Kaiser Permanente Hospital here, our physicians are providing inpatient hospital care for all our Antelope Valley Kaiser Permanente members, both in the AV hospital and in Palmdale Regional Medical Center.
So the last 2 years, we have not had a flu because we had COVID. So let's talk about the flu this year and how bad, do we know what type of strain it is, and how we're working with that right now?
That's a great question. Almost like I asked you to ask me that. So, I'm Dave Bronstein, pediatric infectious disease. This is what I live and breathe. So thank you for asking that wonderful question.
I'll take my 20 later.
Oh, you're cheap. Okay. So anyway, yes, we are already in a flu season. You may not realize that, but we are seeing flu right now. Okay, when we look at the lab reports coming from our regional lab, as well as the CDC numbers, as well as what's happening in other parts of our own country right now, we are seeing influenza cases, and every week those seem to be jumping up and doubling. So anyone who's been saying, I'm gonna wait and get my flu shot later so it lasts longer, I understand the idea, but it doesn't make sense, because you want to protect yourself against the flu that is here right now. When we look at countries like Australia, for example, they also didn't have flu for a few years because of wearing masks and all the other precautions they were taking, but they had a very early flu season and a very bad heavy flu season. In fact, it was worse than some of their more recent nasty pre-pandemic flu seasons. And so usually what happens in the Southern Hemisphere during their winter is going to happen here, and it's already starting to happen right now. So it's a great way to encourage everybody here, get your flu vaccine if you haven't done that already. Tremendously important this year, especially since so many of us didn't get the flu the last few years, which would have built up immunity a little bit. And unfortunately, too few people got their flu vaccines over the past few years. So we have a very vulnerable population. So flu is coming, flu is here, and we need to protect ourselves. Great question.
I walked in and out of Kaiser today, 5 minutes with my flu shot.
Oh, congrats.
Awesome.
Wow. In and out.
And that's one thing, you know, we talk about what differentiates us from some other organizations, for example. If you come in because you stubbed your toe, you're going to leave with your flu shot. If you just walk through our door, we're going to follow you around until you get your flu shot. And not just that, it's October, right? It's mammogram month. If you're due for your mammogram and it flags in your chart, regardless of which specialist is seeing you, regardless of why you're here, we are going to make sure you get the screening tests that you need, the vaccinations that you need. We're going to make sure you get everything you need to take care of all of you. It's not just about dealing with the stubbed toe or whatever. It's that integrated system that Dr. Kroom was talking about, where we want to make sure that we're taking care of everything while you're here and with us. And it was tough the last few years because we didn't have people coming through our doors as much. And so people missed out on their mammograms, their colonoscopies, their vaccines. Now we're catching up on that, and we have a lot of work to do, but we know who needs what, and we're making sure you get it.
You know, we're on this bandwagon, so I'm going to add one more comment to Dr. Bronstein. And Dr. Kroom did mention the integrated model. I'll go even a little bit further to say that in KP, our model is that it's a prepaid system, right? So our members pay us already, and our incentive is to keep them as healthy as possible. That's why we're going out of our way to keep them healthy. So that's a little bit different than what exists outside KP, which is fee for service. People get sick, and the institutions have to make extra revenue by taking care of those patients. But in our system, things are different because our patients are prepaid. Our incentive is to keep them as healthy as possible. So it's kind of a very healthy alignment of interest, both for our members and our employers and our organization.
I haven't had a chance to take the tour yet, so I'm not sure everything that's available. But I'm with Care Night Women's Resource Center, and so we help a large population of the pregnant community here. Can you tell me anything about your OB/GYN services that you may have, if you have any?
Allison,
We have Allison here, who's an expert. So she lived and breathed OB/GYN for a long period of time. So and she can introduce herself too.
This is our phone a friend.
I'm Allison Siegel. To remind you all, I'm the CAO, but I had the privilege of being the manager for the OB department for almost 10 years. And so we actually have 16 physicians available and ready to take care of our pregnant population. We have a perinatologist, and that is a doctor who takes care of our high-risk patients. We have ultrasounds in almost every exam room. We also have procedure rooms for people who might need a GYN. So please, when it comes to pregnancy, we give the best care in town. We also have 2 physicians at the hospital every single day that their main job is dedicated to delivering our patients safely. So when you're thinking about where you want to get your care, it's definitely KP. And we're located right on Antelope Valley Medical Center's property, so it's very easy to get there. Any other questions? Did I miss anything?
That was perfect. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yes, we give flu shots there too, but that's not what I was saying. So another thing, along the lines of that question, do we have OB services? Oftentimes we hear from people, especially people who aren't as familiar with us, they say, oh, don't you have to send everybody down below for their specialty care, for example? Do you have this kind of doctor, that kind of doctor? The answer to that question is we have almost everything you could possibly need. A lot of it's under this roof, and as we take a tour later, I'll show you all the different areas and the different specialties that we do have housed in our specialty office, but almost everything can be cared for here in the Antelope Valley. So you name any specialist, more than likely we've got it. Now in those rare cases, something like a very specialized neurosurgeon, for example, you're not going to have those in this area, and of course we are going to have to send for certain subspecialties, but for the most part we have almost everything that you would ever possibly need here local in the Antelope Valley, which is fantastic.
So we have all medical specialty and surgical services, all of them, and we have even subspecialties. Speaking of OB/GYN, one of the OB/GYN by itself is a specialty, but we have a subspecialty in OB/GYN. So Allison talked about perinatologists, but we even have a gyne oncologist who deals with the cancer-related issue in gynecology. We had one and we recruited another one, so we're now fully staffed for that. That's really a subspecialty care that Dr. Brownstein was referring to. And one of the reasons that we don't have super specialists like a neurosurgeon or so forth is because of the volume of cases. Those subspecialists have to have adequate amount of the volume to be really good in providing the care. So that's why we have a tertiary care centers, which are center of excellence, and we take care of our patient by referring them and coordinating their care there.
So I just do want to say that being a member here, one of the things, like you said, you go with the hurt foot and you come out with a flu shot. I was here to see my doctor, gastroenterologist, and I left with the flu shot. And I had a couple appointments that she says, have you done this yet? I said, no, I haven't had time. She goes, okay, before you leave, we're scheduling your appointment. So I left there with 2 other appointments I have to come and do. So that is good that, the doctors do look at your chart and see what's going on. Have you seen this doctor? I won't say how many specialty doctors I have, but they know they're all on the list. So they're like, they just want to make sure that each doctor that we have is keeping up with our care. So I am really glad that I am a Kaiser patient. So thank you guys for what you do.
So Sylvia, since you have a lot of doctors here, you probably know the whole building, right?
Yes, I've probably been in every office.
She doesn't need a tour anymore. She knows it. And here's the next question that we have for all of you. What do you see as the largest concerns with chronic medical conditions within the Antelope Valley service area, and how does Kaiser Permanente look to combat these issues?
That's a great question because this is our demographics. There's a significant amount of chronic disease, right? And so one of the approaches we take is acknowledgement and resilience with our physicians. You have to embrace the hardship. You have to be aware of the hardship, and you have to know how to attack it, meaning education. During our monthly meetings, actually, we always have a a specialist come and talk to us about the latest and greatest diabetic medications? What about medication adherence? And what populations need to be, are at highest risk, right? Our underserved minority population. So we need to embrace it, acknowledge it, and have the mentality of what are we going to do about this? And when you get there, you'll know how to be able to attack whether it's hypertension, diabetes, even the infectious viruses that are coming in. There's so much happening here that we just want to make sure that we're prepared. We're all fully trained. We're all board certified. You need to be board certified to be a partner for SCPNG. So we've all been to medical school and residency. It's about acknowledging that this is something unique to our area, and we're highly prepared to manage it. So I don't know if anyone wants to add to that.
I can add. As Dr. Wostomian said, again, we get prepaid, so we want to keep our members healthy. So I think that's an important thing. Our goal is to keep people healthy and get people to properly manage their chronic medical conditions, like we've talked about. Also, as an orthopedic surgeon, I see things that probably other orthopedic surgeons outside of KP don't see. I see diabetes monitoring numbers. I can counsel them that they're at higher risk for infection after their surgery, unless they get things better controlled, which I imagine a lot of other orthopedic surgeons in the community aren't even looking at. So I think those are additional things. And again, it goes back to that coordinated care model.
Okay, so there's another question. Do you foresee another COVID-19 surge this winter like we had last winter?
Probably. Unfortunately, yeah. It's the timing is there where you look at the Omicron surge that we had initially, and then kind of the BA4, BA5 peak, that's coming down. People are losing that immunity that they built up primarily through natural infection, plus hopefully boosted with the vaccine. So it really seems like winter is the time for yet another surge. And when you look at the subvariants that are going around, BA5 is on the way down, but this new BQ, you may have heard of. Anyone here of BQ? BQ.1 and BQ.1.1. I hate the people who name this crap, but BQ really seems to be the one that is now going to cause us some trouble. And we look at Europe, they're having trouble right now. We look at New York, New Jersey, they're having trouble right now, mainly from this BQ. That's probably going to cause a surge here. The good thing is that we have vaccine available. We've got the bivalent booster, which even though it's not specifically for BQ, it does have protection against the BA.5, and that does give us a lot of good cross protection. So there should be coverage and protection from that. Plus, we have treatment available. We're not using nearly enough of the Paxlovid that we should be. I'm not saying KP in general, we're doing a great job, but nationwide, we're not using enough of it. Right now, 300, 400, 500 people are still dying of COVID. If everyone who needed Paxlovid got Paxlovid, it would be about 50 people per day dying, which still is awful, but it just shows you how effective that medicine can be in people who are high risk. So those over 65, those with chronic medical conditions and such. So we have ways of dealing with this. We don't expect that we're going to get super saturated in the hospital again, and I think we're going to be able to take care of everyone who gets sick. But if you start having COVID plus flu plus all those other viruses going around, we're bracing ourselves and planning right now for what could be a bit of another nasty winter season. So don't throw away your masks.
I just want to add one other thing that as Dr. Brownson is expert in this issue, the bad news is we may have another COVID surge, but the good news is we're prepared. We're really prepared in KP. When we had multiple surges, because we have the network of our own patients inside, that we know who's who, as Dr. Kroon was saying, what type of chronic condition they have. And when they tested positive, we outreach to them. We tell them that, we just find out that you're positive, you got the result, we know you're a high-risk patient, and we want you to start the treatment, and we provide them with treatment. So we're proud that we have a closed network system, that we can monitor our patients very closely, and we're ready for the COVID if we're going to have another bad surge.
Thank you.
That's great to know that, I know that KP during COVID did such an amazing job doing community outreach, going out to the community and just, letting them know that, hey, we do have vaccines for you, even if you're not a member of ours, we're more than happy to get you those vaccines. So I know that if we have a winter surge, which you say we are going to have, that you guys are ready. That you guys are ready to go out and serve the community. So thank you for that. We appreciate you. We appreciate you for everything you do. And if we could give them a round of applause, I think that's amazing for them. Yes, thank you so much for everything you do for our community. And I have one more question. In what ways does Kaiser Permanente provide educational resources to employer groups and members?
Yeah, so that's something that I've been very involved with. I'm one of the marketing leads, an ambassador basically, to go out to employer groups. And the point of going to our employer groups, especially a lot of the larger ones, is not just to say, hey, we're great, stay with us. It's not an advertising campaign. It's really a way of engaging with the employer groups about their employees' health. So for example, today, when I spoke to a large employer group with all their HR folks and other people, and we discussed the chronic disease report that we're able to generate and show what percentage of their population, for example, is overweight, has diabetes, has hypertension, what percentage of their specific population got flu vaccines last year. Where's an opportunity for us to step in and improve those numbers? What percent got their mammograms and their colonoscopies and their cervical cancer screening? And this is the kind of information that we're able to engage with individual employers to let them know how we are serving their employees and what they can do on their end to help keep their employees healthier. And so we're able to do that kind of work at really almost the individual level there, in addition to providing whatever resources they need. So we have kp.org with a ton of great information on there, and we have access to all sorts of other information that we can really target based on the needs of the individual employers. So that's something that I love doing. I find it very rewarding, taking care of a whole company rather than just one or two patients. It's kind of a neat way of thinking about things. And it's pretty incredible that we're able to do that, because the fact that if you're a company and you have Kaiser Permanente, having a physician with Kaiser Permanente going out there and talking about everybody in your company rather than the individual patients, it's a pretty unique thing that most other health plans just don't have the ability to do, because they don't even have their own doctors to begin with.
So I do want to say thank you, and I know during the COVID, we were doing a lot of Zoom through the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and I know you were one of our speakers and did let us know about what was going on with COVID. So I want to thank you for that. Thank you very much. So if anybody would like to take the tour, if there's no more questions, again, let's give another applaud for our doctors. Again, thank you. So if you want to take the tour, Dr. Bronstein will be leading the tour. So if everybody wants to go, come this way, please.
And if you take the tour, you'll be entered into a drawing for a prize. So come on, let's go. Let's take the tour. Let's tour the
We come in as close as possible and still hear that music. I love it. It's hard to compete with them. Okay.
What kind of music is this?
polka.
What's that? Polka, yeah. Okay, well thank you guys. Thank you all for taking the tour. How many of you have not been to this building before? Oh, good number. Okay. Okay, well, welcome. And to those who have been here, welcome back. Okay, it's hopefully under better circumstances now, since you're not sick with something. This is our subspecialty building, our specialty building. It was built in 2014. Okay, so we're almost on the 10-year anniversary, I guess 8 years or so. And yeah, it was really great to be able to expand here. Our other clinics, we have our Palmdale Clinic on Avenue S. We have our Lancaster Clinic not too far from here, which is where we have our urgent care and a lot of primary care services there. But this is where we basically moved all of our specialists, with a few exceptions. And as we were saying out there, we have a lot of different specialties. Okay, and you're going to see throughout the building how many we have. But this building was built in 2014. It's huge. It's 136,000 square feet. It's 2 3-story buildings that are actually connected by a bridge, basically. And since we built it so recently, we put a lot of thought into the environmental impact of the building. And so just behind you there, that welcome sign there, all the wood, that's all reclaimed wood. Okay, so we wanted to make sure we got the reclaimed wood there. We've got recycled water throughout the facility. Okay, and so we need to make sure when people hopefully don't play in the fountain, but that they're not drinking it. But we have reclaimed water for that purpose. It's LEED certified gold. We wanted it to be platinum, but we would have needed to generate our own electricity with a windmill, and they wouldn't let us have our windmill.
Aww.
So one day, hopefully we'll get a windmill and we can generate our own electricity. But for now, it's LEED certified gold, which is still pretty amazing, okay? I think all of you would agree this is one of the most beautiful buildings in the whole Antelope Valley. Funny thing, you know, the sign on the side that says Kaiser Permanente, the lettering there, it was supposed to be a lot smaller, but they put these giant letters on there, so now I always joke you can see it from space. But it's about 3 times bigger than it was supposed to be, but we said, okay, good advertising, I guess. But yeah, so no, this is the building here. Outside, you can see how much thought we put into it. Probably won't go out there, but if you look, as you walk in, you may have noticed you've got poppies, and then as you go up, you have butterflies. That's why everyone calls this the Butterfly Building, even though it's not the official name. But we wanted to represent the community. And so the poppies, of course, Antelope Valley with all our poppies, but the butterfly to represent the aerospace industry. Okay, there was really a lot of conscious thought behind so much of what was in here. Okay, and you have that big green wall there. One, it looks good, but also it's a way of wayfinding. And you're going to see that as you go through the different hallways. It's kind of easy to get lost here sometimes. And you'll see big colored posts or walls, and that tells you where the end of a hallway is, a new department, things like that. Okay, so much of this was done intentionally. You may not notice if you didn't know that otherwise. So why don't we walk this way here? And anytime, please ask me questions, stop me for questions, anything. We have our big board here. Now that we're in a world where you shouldn't be touching a lot of things, we kind of roped it off, but the intention of the board was actually wayfinding as well as getting information. And you can actually push on there and find out like the energy usage of the building. It has all that kind of information on there. But these days, just the past 2 years or so, we haven't encouraged people to be touching things. So not going to happen. Let's go down this hallway. Hopefully it'll light up if we start walking. And we do have a pharmacy here. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that. We've got a story for that too. Okay. Let's see. Those of you in the back, are you able to hear me still? We're good? Thumbs up? Okay. So one thing as you walked by, you notice we had a pharmacy back there. We've got a laboratory here. We've got a radiology department. Each of our buildings, whether you're in the Palmdale building, the older Lancaster facility, this building, each of our buildings is self-service. So if I see a patient in my Palmdale clinic, that's where I work out of, and I say, hey, you need an x-ray, you need to fill this prescription, you need to get some labs drawn, you don't have to go anywhere. You're there in the building, and we have every service you need. That's not unique to us, to our Kaiser. All the Kaiser medical office buildings really are on that model where we want to make sure it's a one-stop shop for everybody. So it's nice and convenient. I know for some other services, you have people driving all around town. We don't do that. We try and have it all here where you are rather than you having to go everywhere else. I wanted to highlight the artwork here. It just shows when we opened this building, this was a community partnership. It was with the YMCA, and we got 3rd and 4th grade students to work on this, and we gave them a little writing prompt, something about if you were a bird, whatever, I don't even remember, and then draw on it, and this multi-mixed media type thing. And so it was really great. I actually went out. It was one of my favorite committees I've ever been on. I've been on a lot of committees with Kaiser, And my favorite one was being on what they called the art committee. And so my boss at the time said, hey, would you like to join the art committee? Or she just put me on it, and I started seeing meetings show up on my calendar. And I thought, art, oh, okay, so ambulatory response team. And so, okay, I'm gonna run to codes, okay, that's fine. But no, it was art, like art for the new building. So I gotta help decide on what some of the art would be in the building here. And this one in particular means a lot to me because even though it was 3rd and 4th grade students from YMCA, my daughter was in kindergarten at the time, and they let her join them. And so one of these is hers, and I think it's hard to tell the difference, even though she was in kindergarten. She has really good writing. She got that from her mom, who's not a doctor.
Something went wrong.
Oh.
Please try again.
Activated Siri. Okay. So yeah, so that's what this project is. But the point though is that it's a community partnership. You know, it wasn't us saying, hey, all Kaiser buildings use this kind of art, we'll put it in ours too. It was, what can we do to embed ourselves in the community? And that's really very important to us. So, okay, why don't we walk back this way here. I'm trying to remember which one my daughter's is. It's this one. She's the only one who put the bird sitting on the egg, which I thought was really creative. Okay, now. Okay, I'm praying we don't get locked out, but let's go for it. Sorry, it's a little dark. I don't know how these lights turn on.
Is there a basement in this building?
No basement. No basement. But on the 3rd floor we have some shelf space that we haven't used yet, so we do use that for random storage, but eventually we'll turn it into offices like everything else. Okay. So this is kind of our version of a healing garden. You know, again, reclaimed water. Put a lot of thought into that little pool there. Our medical director at the time was just paranoid that little kids would play and
snack bar
over
there.
So it's very, very shallow. But it's meant to be a place for healing, for meditation, for relaxation. You know, when you've got other family members who are up and doing their appointments and you need a break, this is really a great place for that. I like to use it to interview people. So every time we have new physician candidates, I bring them over here and we just hang out, have some coffee, and hang out in that pool here. It's nice and quiet. Very shaded as well. Obviously it's nighttime now, so you can't tell, but during the day it is one of the most shaded areas too. And it's meant that way to kind of keep it as cool as possible. All the colors have meaning here. So you'll notice and that helps with wayfinding, right? So on the ground floor, it's all green, like grass, I guess. The 2nd floor is orange, and then the 3rd floor is blue, like the sky. So we have these different color things throughout the building. But yeah, this is just a nice little feature here. Any questions as we're going? Okay, let me start going towards some of the clinical areas. Oh, thank you, just in case. Appreciate it. I have locked myself out before. Thank you. Just never with a whole group of people.
Hey, Jen.
How are you?
Good, good. How you doing?
Good.
Let's go.
Okay, so this is our reception area here. We do have central reception, which is nice and easy. Instead of having to go through the building and figure out where you need to go, one-stop shop, you come here first, they'll tell you where you need to go, they'll check you in and do a lot of the things that you need before the appointment and really tell you what to expect. So that if you do have some time before it's your turn, for example, you can run and get some coffee over here. Really do whatever you need to do, but it's nice having central reception here. We also have some kiosks, which you may have noticed behind you. Those are not ATM machines, those are kiosks for checking in as well. So you could do self-check-in. And we're always playing with technology these days. A lot of the newer buildings, for example, have the ability to check in on your phone. I don't think we quite have that yet. correct me if I'm wrong. But but at some point that will be just, you know, like every other industry, will have that available as well. So yeah, reception, you can see the beautiful butterflies, really all those themes there. Let me show you some of the clinical areas on the first floor. And we really thought a lot about the first floor, what to put there. So we were thinking, which specialties do we not want to have to climb stairs, go in elevators? Things like orthopedics, things like physical therapy. That's exactly what we put on the first floor, just for that reason.
Let's start with the dog.
Artwork. So yeah, and you can see it's got a lot of things specific to the area. So I believe this was a local artist. We tried to do as many local artists as we possibly could. And you'll see a lot of that. So here for sure, I mean, you can see everything Palmdale Lancaster related there, which is just awesome. So yeah, no, just a lot of cool things like that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. ABTA.
All right, where's the dark?
Oh, there you go. Now you got light. Just waiting for the word dark. That's a nice tribute to aerospace. Yeah.
Really nice. No, and again, something else we put a lot of thought into is having a piece that's a real piece of an aircraft that became a waiting room seat. So everyone always fights over who gets to sit in there, especially the kids. But, and you can see we actually picked out what to put in the windows of that aircraft seat, and we put pictures of the fair. So yeah, a lot of local flavor here. So here we have our physical medicine rehab, radiology here.
I know it's the area. Yeah, super nice. It's fantastic. Yes, I've sat down with my foot up on the Starbucks over there. It's been great.
Nice. That's what it's for. And so yeah, here you can see, real easy to find what department you're going to. Just look at those green columns, right? So instead of having to look, oh, I gotta go to number whatever, you just look at the columns there, and you can see all the way down what's ahead of you there, which is great. Local maps, just all sorts, again, local flavor, but here we got podiatry, orthopedics, physical medicine, radiology, anything on the first floor where you don't want to have to go up to a second floor. So a lot of thought behind that. Why don't we go up to the second floor though? Everyone.
You talked about central reception, but I see a reception here. Is it just
Radiology is always a little bit different, where it's just helpful. It's one thing to check in, but they need to know you're here and ready to go.
Got it. That makes sense as well.
Yeah. And that's where we get in trouble when we tell someone to get an x-ray and we forget to tell them to check in. They can be sitting for way too long before we realize, oh, they're here waiting.
Gotcha,
So
right.
yeah, it's not always perfect, but you're right. That's a great observation. Okay, so why don't we go up to the second floor here? We'll just go around there a little bit. Really good local plan. Anyone who wants elevators, please go right ahead. I'm going to go up the stairs here, but we can all meet together on the second floor. So anyone who wants to climb stairs, come with me. Anyone who would like an elevator, absolutely go ahead there.
I'm not that old yet. That's the right mindset. That's the right mindset.
But do I want to get rid of the two-story house? No worries.
Don't do it. It'll keep you young.
No worries. We'll get to the top here and we'll take a look around. See who wins. Oh, the elevator beat us. You guys are too slow.
Like we were racing.
Always racing.
What floor is it with the lips? The chair?
That's a great question. I do not remember it, but I remember picking up a chair. We'll look down the two hallways and see, but
I love it.
yeah, we fought over that a little bit. I won. Okay, so yeah, here you can see downstairs the reception there. Lots of different specialties here. One thing is administration here. I do want to just show you that real quick, just because we have some really cool timelines of history of the AV here, which I think is pretty neat. So this is where you met Dr. Rostomian today. He's our medical director. His office is in here. Allison Siegel's office is in here. And so here you can actually see just a timeline of special events in the AV, the history of AV on the wall here. Well, that's a great question. So what we do for that, for interpreters specifically, is a few different things. So for physicians, we encourage physicians to speak another language. And if they do, we test and certify them. And we have what we call the language concordance program when you're certified. So I speak Spanish, for example, not great, but well enough to pass the test.
That's great.
And so we actually are encouraged to speak it and that way. For those who don't, we have what we call qualified bilingual staff. So we test staff members. And if they pass the test, then they can be interpreters. They get paid a little bit extra, and they can interpret as needed in person. Most of what we do, though, is with the language line. So we actually have, actually not the language line anymore, it's the video remote interpreter. I'm sorry, it used to be the language line on the phone.
Right, I remember.
Now it's all video. So if we need another language, any other language, honestly, in an exam room, we basically bring in an iPad with us on like an IV pole, and they're in the room with us. And so that's great. It was the intention was for ASL, but we realized it was great for Spanish and any other language as well, just having someone that you can see face to face. And so that's really the heart of our interpreting. So it's rare that we have in-person interpreters, with the exception of ASL, where it's always preferable, but we have to arrange that in advance.
That's fantastic. Thank you for that.
Cool. Okay, so you saw the timeline there. You see the poppies here, of course. Can't get by without more poppies. And what's over here, this is our procedure suite. We have an outpatient procedure suite. So a lot of it's used for our GI doctors doing a lot of colonoscopies, but minor orthopedic type procedures, hand procedures, for example, there's lots that we can do in the outpatient setting using our procedure suite. So not everything has to go to a surgical center. Definitely not everything has to go to the hospital. There's a lot of things that we can do with our specialists in the procedure suite. And all those specialists are housed here. So our pain management doctors, for example, will use the procedure suite, especially our GI guys, and then orthopedics and some others as well. Neurology sometimes, we have it available. So that I think is pretty neat part of this building here. Okay. I'm actually going to now about face. Let me run through this way. We're going to turn and go around the corner because I want to show you what it's like when you come for your typical appointments here for any of the other specialists. Walk by, just take a look at the columns, just pointing you in the right direction. Some of the specialties that we do have here. Everything from my favorite, infectious disease, wound care, physical medicine, head and neck, surgery, neurology, GI, speech, all of these specialties are on the floor here. So we'll go over toward that area. I love this mural here. We put it by physical medicine on purpose. And I was the one who insisted on having a wheelchair in there, so they made that special.
Baseball game's on.
Say the word baseball, I keep it fresh.
Oh, yeah, the Dodgers.
Poor Dodgers.
Yeah. Well, the Padres won today, so they tied up 1-1.
Yeah, 1-1.
Just
Okay.
took the West Coast team.
Okay, so this is the waiting room. Not your typical waiting room, right? When you think of a waiting room, you think of a room with lots of chairs in it. Instead, we use the natural curvature of the undulating wall here to put just chairs throughout. So if you're here for a speech therapy appointment, for example, in area 203 there, then you sit in front of it. If you're here for general surgery or whatever, you sit along the wall here. So it's a really nice way of being comfortable. This is how it always was, even before COVID. So it wasn't our idea of spacing people out and not making them look at each other and cough on each other. This is just, we thought it would be a really nice way of having a little bit of privacy as you're waiting to be called to the back office there. So it's nice. Now our goal is to have people not in the waiting room too much because we want to get you to the back as soon as possible. But of course there are times where you need to wait, and we're always trying our best to let people know how long those waits will be, and for the most part, not too long at all, which is good. This is that big undulating glass wall that you see from space or from the freeway. The shades are automatic. You notice it's on a tilt, right? The whole wall. And that's so that it helps with the glare. What we don't want is people driving down the 14 and getting blinded and crashing into each other. So they purposefully tilted that wall just to make sure that it has less of a glare. Other things that they thought about with regard to the environment, the entrance to the building with that big green wall with the poppies and the butterflies, they put the direction of the wall and the entryway in such a way that the wind wouldn't affect it. And so it's kind of a wind blocker there as well. So all this environmental stuff was really thought about very carefully in terms of constructing the building here.
So you've mentioned a couple times about back there. Where did the term back there where surgery is come from?
Oh, the back office?
Well, will you tell me?
Oh, yeah, no, that's a great question. I don't know the origin of that, but that's what we refer to the area where we see patients. So there's the waiting room, and then there's the back office. Exactly. And then there's the exam room too. Okay. But the back office is kind of that nebulous place where you're getting processed, getting worked up before you get to the exam room. But that's all considered part of the back office. Yeah.
My question is, based off how this window is, how would it react to an earthquake?
It's definitely up to code. So, there's no question, since it was built so recently, the codes are very, very strict in terms of how to build it, even with all the glass here. I know that gets a little scary when you think about glass in an earthquake, but there are specific codes about that of course we have to follow to make sure that, God forbid, if there is an earthquake of really any magnitude, this should still stand very well. But that's a real concern for older facilities. So a lot of our older Kaiser facilities, for example, the Kaiser Panorama. I was born in Kaiser Panorama back in the day, and that hospital where I was born, it still exists, but it's now used for, I guess, just other offices and things like that, but they can't use it for patient care because it wouldn't be up to the current earthquake codes, for patients at least. And so they had to build a whole new beautiful hospital just because of earthquake codes more than anything else. So yeah, that's something we consider. That's a wonderful question.
the decor has a little bit of a 70s feel to it. It's nice. Is there a reason, or I'm just, I mean, does everyone else see that, or is it just me?
I can see it. I can see it, especially with the color schemes.
Yeah,
I've been.
right.
So, yeah, that orange especially. I can think of a lot of kitchens I've been in that used to be like that. So, yeah, I don't think we were thinking 70s. And the color scheme actually was above my pay grade, so I can't take any responsibility.
It feels a little retro, which is now the cool new thing. So,
yeah, we knew it would come back in fashion.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's, and again, I can't take you into the back offices just because we still do actually have some patients lingering around, and I can't do that. But it's your typical exam rooms. I mean, it's a little nicer, a little cleaner, beautiful, but just picture any exam room you've ever been in, and it's going to be pretty similar there. But yeah, but I think, in terms of the waiting room, it's definitely something that we really take some pride in. Also you see all the screens here. Back when we had more people waiting and we weren't as efficient, just because, that's how it was back when people had to wait more. We made sure that we'd have educational videos. So I think right now, there's a homemade educational video. I think that's the one about
bacterial meningitis
there. Oh, about pneumococcal vaccine. Yeah. That's right. So, yeah, and then we made actually a lot of videos locally ourselves, just to explain things like getting your flu vaccine, but also things like diabetes, pneumococcal vaccines, and all the other things. So just some homegrown local videos. I think my kids are actually in that video, believe it or not. So we just had a lot of fun with that, and we still show them actually once in a while. Okay. And yeah, don't believe the lips are on this floor, so sorry about that. It must be one up, but no reason to go up. It's just the same as this, with just different departments. So some of the other departments we have in this building. So our medical director, Dr. Rostomian, he's an ophthalmologist. And so his old office is in the building too, up on the 3rd floor. Interesting thing about that is they made the ophthalmology facing inwards. So a lot of these other waiting rooms and such are facing outwards because we want people to enjoy the view. For ophthalmology, we know a lot of people are going to be there with their eyes dilated and such, so we want to make sure it's not facing the bright lights of the outside there. So just little nuances with some of the different departments there.
And I just was curious, kind of tying back to the first question that I asked out there, is there OB in this building? Or?
Not in this building.
Not in this building.
So
Okay,
I realized we never got to that answer.
That's
but
fine, yeah.
Yeah, so we have a lot of OB doctors.
Right.
They're all based right next to the hospital. So basically what used to be called AVOIC, I don't know if it is anymore,
right,
Renaissance, but they're up on the 4th floor of there, and they basically have the whole 4th floor. And which is very convenient because it's right next to the hospital,
absolutely,
right near the WIP. So, yeah, no, very convenient for them. We used to have them divided between Lancaster and Palmdale, and then once we had that hospital space, it made a lot more sense.
Right. Well, the Palmdale does have the women's pavilion now that they've opened up. So, I mean.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's definitely nice to think about. We may need to embed ourselves there too.
There you go. Right.
Good thought. Okay. Any other questions? I think we've seen all the good stuff.
Great tour, thank you. That's awesome. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm tour guide is not exactly my day job, so hopefully it was okay.
Good job.
Okay, I'll lead the way back down so no one gets lost.
Oh, it's pretty hard. I was thinking it could
It's a little harder to get out to it's all the same. So, yeah, if anyone wants to dig in a little bit, be careful on the stairs. I always wind up waiting for the receptionist and not over down. I'm really afraid that I'm going to fall down. Yeah, right about here, I start waving to people. Oh,
Right, the calves, follow the calves.
Yes. There's no reason, honestly, to get a piece of it. No reason to wait in line, wait a day.
Right?
No reason. Get your home test. You go on KP.org if you're with KP.
Yeah.
You go on KP.org and order it, and they'll just send it to you that way. Or if you stop by any pharmacy, and assuming they have enough, they'll just give you like 4 of them at a time. And you can come by and pick them up anytime.
And the symptoms are relatively the same, or same? Okay.
Yeah.
It's just,
Anything like a cold, usually, but not always. Just because so many people took the vaccine and having had the illness before, it can be very mild. So you just never know. So it's always better to be safe.
I'm sorry, 5-year-olds, they're still not getting any boosters or vaccines.
Under 5 and up, 5 and up, you will have the vitamin. But within probably 1 to 2 weeks, definitely come in and get 5 and up. Okay, so yeah, a little too early for the booster.
Yeah, so, but the flu shot we're getting.
Beautiful. And we do have, here we got a lot of
Yes. Yeah, that's my 18 months.
Oh, well, 18 months we can't do that.
Oh,
Until
okay.
2 so everyone else we can do 18 months, they don't know.
They don't. They're good. Very cool. Oh, that was nice.
Keep up to date. It really is. It really is here.
Yeah.
Let's
do it, yeah. Thanks everybody for taking part. Let's do that raffle.
Have you ever heard of sexual assault? How is it? Yeah. Oh no.
Winning plays every day. TCP will show you the way. Accomplish your goals and never fold. Just follow the winning plays that you've been told. The Champions Playbook will help you win, and your success will never end. Winning plays, winning plays.